Pledge of Allegiance. We'll call this meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Amy, please note that all council members are present this evening.
All right, who's sneezing?
Me? I've been doing that all day.
Oh, my gosh.
My allergies. Farmers are in the fields.
Not today, it's wet.
I know. But I count it.
Okay.
But has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
I've got a motion to second to approve the minutes. Those in favor?
I abstained because I was not here, Jeff.
Yes. You're also allowed not to sign the minutes.
Okay. Do you have the lunch on the medical? Is that this one? Okay.
I lost paper. Where's the paper?
One.
And so next, we've got the additional appropriations for jail medical. Sheriff, would you like to explain, please?
Had 3 inmates in this fiscal year that have had to have pretty serious surgeries, medical surgeries. I always worked with the prosecutor and the judges to try to get people released on their own recognizance, but these 3 were pretty serious offenders that they would not release. So that's what set us over this year. I think this is the first time I've asked for more than that, but it's 4 procedures, medical procedures that had to be done.
Okay.
It's not a result of anything that happened while they were there that.
No.
Nothing like that.
No.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah, just medical procedures that, most of the money went to IU Medical.
Yeah.
And we had to staff somebody up there with them the whole time. We couldn't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, since then, that person's went to the state, to DOC, but we couldn't neglect their
Yeah.
health care. So,
But any questions for Sheriff?
I'll second.
I've got a motion to second to approve. Those in favor?
Thanks, and sorry, I don't like it any more than you do.
That's all right.
Yeah, thank you for making sure it was taken care of.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like,
Okay. So we're good.
Jason, I guess I do have a question in regards to that. What kind of insurance do we have if somebody would come, an inmate would come back and say we were derelict of duty, not getting treatment that they needed? How are we covered there?
Well, the healthcare provider has their own malpractice insurance.
Okay. Curious.
It's just any of the expenses for surgeries like that over and above the contract we have with our healthcare people.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
All right, next we've got a transfer request form from the Highway Department to cover the cost of a new dump truck. Do you have anyone here who would like to speak towards that?
Brett called me earlier. That's money from Peabody that he encumbered last year, and he's just moving it around to purchase a new truck. He's got 3 down right now.
I guess that's just going to other money he's got, or is that the whole price of the truck?
I didn't ask the total price, but he said it was going into the new equipment fund to help purchase the new truck.
If I'm not mistaken, the total cost of that truck was 250 some thousand with outfitted with all the snow equipment.
I heard it a month or so ago, but I couldn't remember,
And
so.
and that is second truck down.
He's got 3 down.
He's got 3 down.
Right down in the commissioners meeting, I finally was able to watch it today. I know one of them is down with a blown engine, so I mean, it's down hard.
Yeah.
And I think the last time we bought a truck, we were several years
Mhm.
getting it built once it was ordered. I know he said in the meeting they won't even give him an anticipated delivery date until we've issued a PO.
Yeah.
They told me that, he told me today that if he got the PO in this week, they say they can have it done this year,
Really?
so.
Wow, see a huge improvement.
And there's.
You said he told you that was money he encumbered
I think,
for stone and gravel?
I think that's what he said. It
Well,
says money left over from Peabody's money that they give.
that wasn't verified.
I don't know.
Well, it shows he has the money in Fund 1176.
I'm pretty sure that's what he told me.
Well, all the highway is 1176.
They all 3 share that.
Okay.
But he did say it was budgeted for Bear Road, so I do know that.
Any other questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
Oh, excuse me. I'll make that motion.
A motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
A motion second, those in favor? Moving on to old business, Katie?
I'm just gonna stand back here and not walk through everything.
As long as you don't yell at us, it's fine.
I mean, I could if you really wanted. No, I wasn't here to do the March, monthly report, so I'm doing that in the April one. So total of 141 runs and 109 of them were billable. They're still kind of tiptoeing sometimes, going back and forth depending on if they can get it billed or not in a sense of when we pay. So those numbers have been fluctuating. I did change them a little from the commissioners meeting that was last week. Same thing with April's. That was 155 runs and 90 of them were billable. I attached on the last piece, so far this month's, net charges. We did up the percentage up for non-Medicare and Medicaid to counteract the low rates that Medicare and Medicaid pay, which showed us an improvement in that. I did just mention like numbers a lot more. I only printed out one. If you guys need more, I can email out to you, but I sent him from May 1st all the way through April 30th. This is the last year's May to this year's April 30th to show how a whole year is. Just as a reminder, Mitch, we didn't change our rates until September, so you'll see that improvement. I think it'll look better for us, and we'll see some improvement as far as not being so far in the red.
And I'm gonna keep asking you about the trucks. How's
Yeah.
that going?
So we have to wait now, because we have to wait till like taxes are due. So
Okay.
that's the sad part of it, we just have to wait for it. But yeah, it's going, it's just a long process, a lot to go through. I have been dealing with a federal grant that we're trying to get in 2 different ways. We'll kind of discuss it a little more once we have a little more information. But looking into the federal grant to help support maybe a second truck full time. I gotta get all the numbers, but that's what I'm waiting on, is numbers from the state and then going from there, so.
Okay.
I got a couple questions. You don't have any write-offs the last 3 months, is that right?
That's so far. So because we don't have, Medicare and Medicaid has 18 months to respond to things. It does take a while. What I like to do is always go through and see why something's wrote off. Usually though, it's a death. Either the patient died on scene and we worked them, or they later died at the hospital and then they write those off because they don't.
And do we do anything to try to collect any of that write-off?
Yeah, so that's why I go through it and look, and the billing company tries to enforce it, but they can't if it's a death.
Because, I mean, 97,000's a significant amount of money to it. If you could get some percentages of that, that would help a lot.
Yeah, and that's what, if it's billable or, if it's depending on what it is, like, I know we're having some issues with the prison. They were having issues getting stuff sent over for prison runs, and that's why we try to keep up with it. And they just have to go back and refill it. So sometimes it just takes a little while to. We had a large chunk last year that was not getting billed properly. So
I like the report, though. It's good.
any other questions?
That was the only thing on the agenda. Does anybody else have any old business? Before we move on to new business? Then moving on to new business, we've got April Cox, our new library director.
Hello. You're welcome. I wanted to introduce myself. I know some of you, I've known almost my whole life. But in this new position, I wanted to be sure that I could introduce myself. So I've lived in Sullivan County all but about 3 years of my life. And I love our county. And if you're not familiar with my job history, I've been an English teacher, middle school, high school, college for 20 years until about 4 years ago became the youth services coordinator, the children's librarian, and then the adult services librarian, and now I'm the director. And I love helping people. I'm super thrilled to be in this role. So recently, the end of April, I had to do our annual report. I've just been the library director since mid-March. So this is still all fairly new to me, but there were some things I wanted to share from the report. And also, just to remind you of our system, how we work a little bit. So we are more than just books. If you look at the blue rectangle, we provide so many other services. Our mission is to provide for the citizens of Sullivan County a source of information for education, cultural enrichment, and entertainment. But service has also become a really big part of our role in the community. One of the things I was kind of shocked by is the number of programs we did last year, 503. And those are programs that are adult and youth. They are at all of our library branches, but also we go out into the community and we do programming out at the 4-H fairgrounds, at Nature's Classroom, the hospital's fitness night. We participate in those kinds of programs. So we had 9,624 people attend our in-person programs. I was stunned by the number of visits we've had in our library, 42,708. We do have door counters, that track that. And that was surprising, for such a small county. We own and maintain 8 buildings. We have our 5 branches. We have an administrative annex and a garage and a history museum. So some research I did, I was curious. I'm like, this seems like a lot compared to other surrounding counties. And we are in the top 10% out of Indiana's 235 library systems. We are in the top 10%. One of my analyses showed that we were number 1, but I didn't feel comfortable saying that. We're number 1. But I'm proud of and what we are able to do. So I wanted to share that with you and invite you to reach out if you ever have any questions or you want to come talk with me. So
I think we're very lucky to have you. I've worked with you before, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
Good.
It's an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And don't forget, the courthouse is going to be 100 years old here
Yes.
next year.
Okay.
Yeah, from when it was built.
Great.
I was hoping it was this year with the 250.
That would have been neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we've got Park and Lake.
I'm gonna try to be faster than April. Just 'cause I like the competition. Plus, this isn't really a new subject, so I don't really have to introduce the project or anything. But basically, two things we want to talk about tonight is one, obviously lake dredging. That's going on. We're in the Beach Cove now. Just a little history on it. We're in basically our third year of it now. First year was just constructing everything, getting pipe, getting hose, all that sort of thing. And then last year we started actually dredging. And it's going to be in phases, and like you've heard multiple times, moving at the speed of funding. So a couple of the big challenges we're facing now is it's very difficult for the Park and Lake Board to manage a very capital intensive project such as lake dredging and managing and maintaining county owned property outside of the campground. And what I mean by that is the entire shoreline around the lake, the liability that's involved with trees and property that the county owns. So yes, the homeowners and the different parts of fields and stuff that maybe there's no residents, they're maintaining it or they have use of it or whatever within certain extent, but the county still owns all that property. And in the past, the board's done a good job of trying to balance does that tree need to be, like how much does that cost, right? But now with this big project going on with dredging, you're fighting in two different directions, big things that happen regularly and routinely. So for the most part, the park has always been self-generating, and for the last few years anyways. I know in the past that maybe that wasn't the case. Maybe they weren't pulling their weight at times, but I do know in the last several years they've generated the revenue that they spend within their budget. But that gets stretched really thin when you're talking about 250 square miles of shoreline that wrap around 468 acre lake. So we're here to educate on that issue because we know budget time's coming up. So one thing that the board is requesting is strong consideration for there to be an added line item in the new budget of at least 25, but we would like 50,000 a year directly allocated to shoreline and tree maintenance around the county owned property. And they're looking at different ways to like partner with the homeowner, things like that. That's not established yet. But right now they're struggling to come up with the funds to even manage those battles when they do arise. So there's trees that fall in the lake and stay in the lake because there's no money to go get them. And there's a lot of them. And that creates boating hazards and it creates a bigger challenge too when you're trying to dredge around a really big tree that's laying in the water. And then if you leave it there too long, then it becomes like, oh, it's a fish habitat. Now we have to, so there's that one struggle. The second one that we're here for tonight, and this is exactly what we went to explain the importance of the lake. I think we all know the importance of the lake. The board has done their due diligence to do the economic impact studies. They've got the partnerships with the Wabash Valley Community Foundation, the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. The project's moving, and it's not going to stop. But again, when we're going after these larger funding opportunities, the county as a whole, the county leadership as a whole, it looks good if the whole county leadership is in support of the project. The redevelopment's voted in favor of it being a priority project. The commission board has voted in favor of being a priority project. And so tonight, we have 3 of the board of directors here present. The other 2 couldn't make it, but Dewey Collins is the board president. If you would raise your hand, please. And Katie Harrison is next to him. Buzzy Willis is right behind. The board is appointed. If you guys aren't familiar, the council appoints positions, the commission appoints positions, and Judge Hunley appoints positions. So it's a vast array of appointed individuals that help direct the park and lake, and they're here to ask for your vote of confidence and your priority project status as we continue to move this project along and apply for other funding opportunities. So that's what we're here asking for tonight.
And just for complete transparency,
Yes, sir.
you're requesting we make this a priority project. What goes along with, are we just making a statement that it is important to the county? Or are you looking for a financial commitment that goes along with proving that it's a priority?
Yes to the first, making a statement, and yes in the future, that if there is opportunity to help with funding. But we're not specifically asking for funding current.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that
Asking
everybody
for
was on the same
consideration of
page.
funding come budget time.
Do you know how much this project total is going to be?
So yes, if you had a blank check and you wrote a fat number right now,
We just got $1.5 million.
if you wanted to get in and get it all done in one swoop, the entire north end included, all at one time, $6 million.
Phew. Wow.
She's not reaching for a checkbook.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't think you're gonna contribution back.
Which for in the history is why the project's never moved, because they've looked at trying to raise the money and go. It's like, okay, well, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? Raise money,
Yeah.
hit a cove, raise money, hit a cove, because you got to do it. I mean, we're losing the lake.
Chris, have you guys looked far enough into the future? I don't want to beat the dead horse.
Yeah.
Talk about the past, but say we get this done in a 5-year span.
Mhm.
If we was to redredge it every 10 or 15 years like it was originally intended, depending on who you talk to,
Mhm.
is there a maintenance every 10 years? Do you have a number of what it would keep? You know what I mean, to maintain where we're
Yep.
gonna be?
So the lake's supposed to get dredged every 15 years in the master plan. And if nobody knows the history of it, the lake was built as a floodway control by the Buster Run Conservancy District, which is a federal project. So federal dollars built this, not the Army Corps of Engineers, not necessarily even the county. It was a federal project. And then shortly thereafter, because we did this research and we already met with the Buster Run Conservancy District Board, who has written a letter of support, strong support of this project. However, the lake was removed from the Buster Run Conservancy Management District when the campground was built. The leadership at that time wanted control so they could build a campground, and therefore it removed it from the federal umbrella of the Buster Run district funding. So that's why we can't get money from that resource.
Interesting.
Yeah, but if we get it done.
Yep.
And we do it again in 15 years, do you think it'd be another 6 million, or do you think it would
No.
be cheaper because we've done?
It's only costing that much now because of the neglect, because
Yeah,
it's so bad, right?
So
So
you
if
have a
you,
projected number it would cost in 15 years if we got it all done, like half or a third, or?
well, 15 years from now, I can't speak for inflation.
Yeah, but I mean,
About 1.5 million to do the whole lake every 15 years.
that's what I was
That's
wondering
ballpark.
if you had a guess of how deep it is now compared to what it was
Yeah, we have the original
32 years
depth.
ago.
We know where we're at now, and we've done the lakes survey, and we've done the soil, so we know what's in the soil, what we can do with it, what you can't do with it. Basically, it's turbocharged topsoil. It's really all the, 60 plus years of runoff and pre-farm legislation, right? So all that's in the bottom of the lake. But yeah, anybody else have any questions?
Can I speak to Mark's question real quick too? So Mark, that's something I'm personally passionate about, is like, yes, we're looking at 6 million to do this. I want a sustainable plan, because I don't want to leave
Yep.
this board and in another 15, 20 years, we're having the same discussions
Exactly.
in county leadership. So, sorry, I meant in my mouth. We did put a 2% lake maintenance charge this last summer, and that is going directly towards lake maintenance. That's not, a lot, but that is something. So yes, in 10, 15 years from now, that will build over time. So we are going to be proactive versus reactive. So that is something that we are very passionate about as a board, is get this done, get it done correctly, and prevent. So we are not having these same discussions in the future, so we can maintain that. So that's going to be a county asset. So we are trying to be very responsible and diligent with thinking future-wise, so we're not stuck in this cycle that we've been in for the last 50 years. I don't know if that's helpful, but I did.
That's what I was hoping to hear
speak
somebody
to
say
that. Yes,
something.
we are very much trying to tackle this while still thinking of sustainability.
And some other things too to Katie's point is, we have a local contractor who's stretching the dollar. I mean, remarkably stretching the dollar. literally, we're only getting billed when the dredge is running. So all the time when he's setting up or his pump breaks down, he's working on the pump, we're not getting billed for it. And then the pipe and hose, the Park and Lake is buying. So in the future, as we continue to dredge and have to mobilize to come back out and dredge in phases, we already own all the, and the sediment basins as they were constructed are big enough to, if you said go now, you just alternate. So you fill one up, then you start pumping in the other one, you let the clear water off the other one, and they just go back. They're big enough to handle the whole project if somebody said go right now. So the only maintenance with that is you dig them out every so often, and at this rate, it's super, only like every 2 or 3 years when you dig them out. But, so trying to build the model, like you said, sustainable.
Couple other things I'd like to add to that also. Dewey does shoreline grants as well. And we've made a lot of effort to get the shoreline stabilized. There's been some substantial large projects to do that. So all that will help in the future, in the long run. And on the far north end, I believe we've had discussions about trying to do a catch basin of some type up there to where we can hold that stuff up there on the north end where it becomes easier to eliminate the problem. We corral it up there to where we can just go in and pump it out. It's much easier to reach it from there. And then we only have a couple other places filling in from different creeks and so on and so forth. The plan is to try to catch it and minimize the erosion.
What are we doing with the sediment too?
I'm sorry?
Where's the sediment going that you're getting from it?
When you dig it out.
So it'll be stockpiled once it dewaters. We haven't accumulated enough to do that yet. But that's,
Right now, it's being sediment basins, is that what he's asking?
well, you say when you get done with it, what are you gonna do with it? It's really a board decision. They haven't.
Sounds like we need to sell the topsoil
That
was my next question.
to pay for dredging.
Well, yeah, but just to do a little, it's not as much as people think. So, because when water is
Yes.
suspended, or when dirt's suspended in water,
Right.
it's for about every 6 feet that you're removing out. When it dries, it's about 6 inches. So
Yes, that's still a lot of, when you take into consideration the whole thing. And are you doing testing on that to make sure that it's clear of what all's in it?
the soil
The
itself, or the
sediment,
water.
the sediment that you're taking out.
So the sediments already had the soil study.
It's already got,
Yeah, but all are
that's gonna have some value to the county at
Correct.
some point in time.
correct.
Mitch, before we could even put the dredge in the water, we had to be approved
Okay.
through IDEM and had to have the soil samples that obviously we weren't gonna be pumping out toxic waste. It
Yeah.
all came back.
Yeah.
Well, so that was the very first.
I would have been
step.
afraid, I've been nervous about that actually.
Well, we kind of were.
Kinda were too.
So, but we.
You're like, did we wanna know?
We could even.
But I also know that soil that you get, once it does settle out, will have some real value. Because I know the amount of topsoil that it staggered me what its value of it is. So I mean, there's some money there.
$300 a 10-ton truck.
And this is even better stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's all I got.
Any other
Yes,
questions?
I would make a motion that we make this priority project going forward. And, we'll give you as much support as we can financially. We're not much of a position to help much, but
Understandable.
that doesn't mean that we don't support the project.
We can see if we can find something somewhere, but
I think we all support that.
But we've got a motion and a second.
Mhm.
Sorry, if you finished, Matt. Didn't mean to interrupt.
I said a second.
Oh, okay. All right, those in favor?
Thank you. One last thing I'll leave is the Heartland 1.5 million. Just so this is a commissioner issue, just so the council is aware. The Park and Lake Board of Directors are not being counseled on this.
Or, excuse me,
They are not being counseled in discussions on what is gonna happen with it, how it's gonna be structured. And I think that the Board of Directors should be,
Well, we
Put in a meeting.
feel the same way.
but just so the council knows that they are, the Board of Directors, which you guys have partially appointed, are being left out of the loop.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris,
Yes.
you wasn't faster than April, sorry.
Let me back up again. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, of the $1.5 million though that has been verbally committed to you, that's coming straight from Heartland, the way I understand it, straight to Parker Lake. So I wouldn't think that anybody else would have much say in that money except for Parker Lake at that point in time.
Yeah.
I agree. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't come in front of this council,
Because the
this courthouse, nothing.
no other finger of the county had been named as recipient of that money. So if it's coming straight to you, it should be your money to distribute.
Thank you.
Should be.
We don't want no part of it.
I don't think appropriation.
We weren't involved in it.
Oh, I'm telling you, it will not come through here.
No,
In here. No, I mean, legally it can't, and it's not.
It can't, the way that it's
No.
set up, it's a gift from Heartland to those three organizations. And it's not county money. It's a gift from Heartland.
To each
That should be
individual source.
yours.
Appropriation, any of that, no.
And I remember, I think in a commissioners meeting, it was brought up about running it through the Wabash Valley Community Foundation,
Oh, there's no reason.
all that. And I agree, just,
Never setting rules to where principal and only using interest and all that. It's their money.
Well, the community foundation currently has a window of opportunity where there's a match. And so we want to capitalize on that.
Well, then you can work with Heartland to get that set up, but that doesn't need to be come through county business.
There's your
you don't need our approval.
Anything else on this topic? Right, as requested at the last council meeting, I invited our county assessor, Michelle Bedwell, to attend our meeting so we can try to sort out maybe what we need to do going forward to make sure that we are properly receiving the taxes from the solar field that are complete, as well as, so we can all be on the same, make sure we're all on the same page with all the projects that are going forward. Michelle, I know you had a few specific questions addressed to you. Would you like to start with those, or?
Well, refresh me on those questions. Cause you emailed me and you were gonna request questions, but I didn't get any questions in email. So, I know Jackie and I talked, but that's
yeah.
been several weeks ago.
So I had talked to the DLGF and, we need to get the taxes from the Fairbanks Solar. And, they said all they're showing is in the news, there's solar there. But they don't have an address. They don't know how to fly over, where it's located or anything. But somebody needs to trigger the state with some form with the address and the location.
Okay, there are two different sources here. There's personal property,
Yeah,
which is state distributable, which they report to the state and not to my office. And then there's the land.
okay,
Now, the land, I take care of assessing.
okay. And is that Form 103?
That's a personal property form. That's a business personal property form. That would
Okay.
come through my office.
Okay.
I think the state distributor is a different number.
Okay. There was another one. Looks like UD 45, an annual report
I think
has not
that's-
been received.
I think that's one that goes to the state.
Okay,
Goes to the state from where?
Yeah, if you have business personal property in my county, like farms, they report to me and they're self-report. If you are a state distributor or you're a power company or you have personal property that spans counties, instead of reporting to each county, you report to the state and then the state distributes it, the portion that each county receives.
okay, so in our redevelopment meeting, Baker Tilly was there and Jason Simler said on the Fairbanks Solar Project and property filings, he noted that the company had not filed personal property as expected. And he said May 15th was the deadline, and that Jason Simler with Baker Tilly mentioned it was the auditor Amy Scarborough's responsibility to get that done. And he stated that the last time he spoke with her, it had still not been received. So have you turned in your report?
I don't turn in nothing to the state. The
Okay,
state turns it to me and I verify it.
okay,
And yes, they have to do it by May 15th. They have not.
okay. And then it's my understanding that there's a year that has fallen behind that we need to go back and collect.
Not on the state assessed utility, you give them an abatement.
Well, I'm just going off what the DLGF is
Well,
telling
I'm
me.
just going off what the assessor job is and what we're told to do.
Well,
So,
So,
and if, I mean, if they don't file again next year, that's year two.
okay,
Then, I
so,
mean, we go back on them.
how, how does that process work and who needs to, I mean, how do we start that process to go back on them? Is that a redevelopment thing or?
No, it'll be Michelle.
As far as the fact that they have not filed personal property.
So then I guess my question would be, what do you need to do to reach out to the state to see that that happens?
I need to contact my DLGF representative because I've never handled this, of course.
I understand that, but I mean,
But that would
somebody,
be my first step.
we can't continue to sit here and nobody's getting the job done.
The way I was told that Deanne contacted them. Whenever I didn't get that, whenever we got the report filings from the states, their name wasn't on there.
I really don't care who does it. It's just somebody in the county.
No,
get it done.
Deanne was
We
to
get the money.
contact them and ask them why they didn't do their filing. But
And you would think there should be some kind of penalty involved, because anybody that misses their tax payments, whether they have the statements or not, there's a penalty the minute you pass that date over.
Yeah.
So there
Well-
should be some penalties involved.
Julie Waddle is who I think you said you were familiar with her, and you've got all that information. Do you want my emails?
Sure.
Okay. Pass that on over to her. Maybe that'll help you out. But somebody needs to trigger or let them know they need to be filing because their DLGF says they don't even see solar in Fairbanks. They have no address, no business, nothing. So we got some rough years coming and we need to get this done. I also have another question while I've got you here on self-assessing.
Question back here.
So explain to me how self-assessment, when a company self-assesses theirself. Now, I know we talked about that they can self-assess themselves one time at $2 million and then they don't have to report again, correct?
No.
Okay. Can you explain that?
No, well, self-assessment, when you have a business, you self-assess your personal property. It goes by acquisition costs. So every piece of equipment that you've bought over the years that you've had your business, it goes in the form. And then the form depreciates it down and comes up with an assessment. That's for every business owner to do for themselves.
Okay. And of course, we had the situation with the low self-assessment of Hallador when Hoosier sold to Hallador. So with everything coming in out there, you know that they're going to be updating the power plant. So we're not going to be seeing those lower self-assessments. Or do you see those? Can you see those? The amount? Are you able to see that?
The state, if it's state, yes, in what the county gives, or what the businesses in the county give me, yes. It is classified, it is confidential.
Right.
And when the state distributor will, like Amy says, I get the same report Amy gets
Okay.
sometime in July.
Okay.
So I have numbers, and I know that Hallador, what I hear is that they're adding equipment. And so, whatever they buy that equipment at is gonna be their acquisition cost, which
Okay.
every time they buy a piece of new equipment, their assessment's gonna go up.
So it's going to start increasing. Okay. And the same thing goes for Peabody.
Yes,
Okay.
it's the same process.
Do we have a question in the back?
Does anybody know if the original first solar field across from the hospital, how is it taxed? Is there a blueprint there that you can go off of that?
It's assessed, it's been assessed, the land's been assessed, and all of Fairbanks Solar's the land is assessed.
Yes, I know the land is always going to be assessed, but what about the additions to it and to them?
They would be reporting to the state as well.
So it possibly has never been reported for solar panels.
Michelle was saying they've not reported to the state. Fairbanks Silver has not.
Well, I mean, the original one across from the
Oh,
hospital.
yeah, no, they are. They're reported. In fact, I think this year or next year is their last year of their abatement.
Should be.
This year, I don't remember.
Something like that. I talked about the redevelopment meeting, but 30%. So what we have them locked in at?
It should be a 30% floor. It was like the rest of them.
Yeah.
But any other questions for Michelle while she's here?
The only comment I'll make was with all the different kinds of businesses that are coming in now, there's gonna be a lot more pressure on somebody, whether it's redevelopment or your office, to make sure that we're getting the proper values put in place on all this property, because the reason that we want to see some of this stuff come in is so that it does help the tax base, and we've got to make sure that it's done in a timely fashion, and in this case, we're not getting abatement, so we need to make sure that we're up to speed on that as often as we can be. It's all only comment I'll make, and I think it's going to be more your job's going to be nothing but more difficult because of the complexities of the businesses that are coming. It's not going to be a straight pole barn and new house and whatever. It's going to be property that we don't know what it's worth. So I think that, I don't know whether the data center falls under the state guidelines like the Hallador does, or whether it falls straight to the county. But I think we need to be doing our research ahead of time rather than doing it after the fact. So.
Yeah, and as far as assessments go of the real property, I have a company, Tyler Technologies, that we hire that is gonna be a great resource for, and they do multiple counties on this.
Yeah, but we got to make sure that they're comfortable with data centers, because they're not just, especially at the magnitude that we're looking at.
Yeah, they're a large company, and they not only do Indiana, they do several states and like,
That's good.
so I feel comfortable with that.
That's good. Okay.
But what avenue we got right now? What do we need to do to get the rest of this done? That's to me. I mean, Fairbanks Solar and everything. Do you need to contact somebody, or?
Do they come to your office, any of these companies?
Hang on, Jackie. One question at a
Oh,
time, please.
okay, I'm sorry.
Restate your question for me, Wes, I'm sorry.
I said, what do we need to do at this point to get Fairbanks Solar and Trade Post Solar?
As far as personal property, business?
Personal property, the real estate, whatever they're lacking behind on, what do we need to do?
They're not lacking in real estate at all.
Okay,
I have all of, Fairbanks Solar land assessed. And the company Invenergy, gave me a map, and they were super helpful with the amount of acreage, and I have, aerials maps too, so it's very easy to see. So that's taken care of. There is some, solar ground that will be assessed for, 26, pay 27 for trade post. And then I'm sure next year we'll pick up the rest of it. It's not all there. About 2/3, well, about half the parcels have some solar on them now. So.
because I mean,
property's pretty easy.
I'm hearing they've got a check they want to give the county to pay this, but they don't know how.
But then why didn't they report it if they did?
Well, that's what, I mean,
Exactly.
that's what I'm trying to get to the
That was
bottom of.
my next question.
But
Yeah.
they keep telling you guys that, but they had to get reported.
That statement there is our problem. Somebody's got to take it in their purview and take care of it. I
Yeah.
mean, we can't say, well, they didn't. Somebody here, I don't care if it's redevelopment or your auditor's office or who, somebody's got to take the bull by the horns and get to the bottom of where we're going. And I don't know if that's your office or the redevelopment office or who it is, but we can't just keep saying, well, we know. Somebody's got to go up and raise some crap with the people up there to get it done.
And that's,
It's our money
and that's
that we're
what
not getting.
I was saying to her, does any of these companies come in your office that you can hand them their form right then and there and say,
No.
fill this out and send it to
I
the
don't think
state?
it's probably that easy.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
But somebody's got to take, somebody grab it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you had mentioned, Michelle, and correct me if I'm wrong, but of reaching out to DLGF people that you work with and get some personal direction and see what we need to do.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Because the state's the one that gives.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Right?
And thank you for coming to answer questions. It was a whole lot more productive to get everybody in one room instead of,
So they not file taxes or anything else like that last year at all?
What kind of type?
Like, how many? Because surely they had to, those expenses were on their taxes.
Also.
That's right.
I need to add.
Is that what they follow those on?
One other thing I need to add that we gotta keep in mind is everything goes by the assessment date of January 1.
Right.
Whatever's on that property January 1, it doesn't matter what's on there January 2nd, throughout the rest of the year, whatever's on there on January 1. I don't believe even with this personal property, there was much. So we're talking, what year are we talking? 24? January 1 of 24?
24, page 25.
I don't really, honestly, I don't think I have no land assessed in 24, page 25. So the panels weren't there of January 1. So it would had to have been the year before.
But we've already passed our first payment for 26 too, don't forget, which would have been at 25.
26. But anyway, I'll do some research tomorrow, but it is important to realize whatever's there on January 1 of that year, that's how it's assessed.
Logan's probably right. There's got to be somewhere on the company's income taxes. They're tracking all of that from a taxation standpoint. So the information's got to be there somewhere because I guarantee you they're doing everything they can to get tax relief from an income tax standpoint. So there's got to be somewhere.
There's a paper trail somewhere.
Well, Mitch, when I talked to the DLGF, they said every state does their taxes differently and they may not know that they're supposed to do that.
I do have one more question. So even if we do,
This thing shows them as state income.
even if we do say that they do have personal property that's due, is it abated? Because I thought the personal property was abated. The land is not, but I thought the personal property was. So then if it's abated, 100% abated for the first year, do we get a payment?
Not for the 20, well, depending on when they started, not for the 24, 25.
no, but isn't there something?
The first year, yeah.
The first year was 100%.
See, I would.
But the
You would,
abatement doesn't start until they flip a switch and start producing power. So there should be, if I'm understanding from a whole bunch of different conversations that I really don't understand correctly, they are going to owe some personal property taxes from the time the panel was put in prior to the switch being thrown on and the abatement starting. Otherwise, and basically they manipulated that to be better for them so that they're not using up a year of their abatement on partial taxes. The abatement doesn't kick in until they're should be paying 100% taxes. So there should be a small payment, if I understood correctly, prior to the abatement kicking in from where they're able to work the system.
I thought their work in the system was their cash that they were paying. Could be. No,
Any other discussion on this topic? Please, this meeting. Anybody else have any new business we need to discuss? Yes, sir.
I've got a couple of things, I guess. One would be new business / old business. Where we at with Edge as far as that goes with the IT and are they now acting and working live, or are we still waiting on somebody from the old company to do something?
The commissioners are handling that.
Okay, I just wanted to know where we were with it. If it was, 'cause we're trying to get somebody to give us a bid at Park and Lake. Right now, our old contract is expired. We're trying to get on board with this new contract, but here we are a month and a half into it. We still don't have an estimate. We don't have what we need. So if we crash, we're in a lot of trouble.
Well, don't feel bad, so are we.
As I said, I think that's universal for the county right now. Basically, you're good? Okay. So if the whole system goes down, sheriff can help us all out.
Sure.
So, But I do think there are some issues that the commissioners are working this out. I was finally able to watch the commissioners meeting late morning today, and there was quite a bit of discussion with Terry, and Terry's supposed to be sending them the old provider a letter, and so there's still some haggling going there of them releasing what they need to release.
And another thing, now that the news is gone, I think some people need to reach out to the governor. We need a checklist of stuff. You know, we need to be Hoosiers working for Hoosiers. And we need a checklist of how we can handle these data centers and stuff. We have all this business coming in here, not just our county. I'm talking statewide. We all need to be on the same page. We need a checklist of stuff to run down to where you guys, Vigo County, Knox County, wherever the county may be, you know, we gotta get ahead of this stuff instead of playing catch up. And I think the governor's office and them need to be involved in kind of getting that. You know, they need to meet with these people and get them in check and say, hey, we're all on the same page here in Indiana. We want Indiana people working for Indiana. And this is what we want to do. And we need to get you guys the information that you need, the commissioners the information that you need, so we can handle this stuff. We're all in a new era that we don't know anything about it because we're not familiar with data centers and stuff. I just think that it needs to trickle down from the top.
I agree.
Good idea.
But I would think, you know, a meeting of his office and some of these developers and some of these Googles and all that, and they're building across the state. Get on top of it. Make you guys' job a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
100 more is supposed to be in the state.
100 more in the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, tag on to what Buzz had said, I've already reached out to the governor, and Lieutenant Governor. I don't know the developers, but, I should be getting a text back or a phone call soon on what kind of advice or help they can give us.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else today?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
I would have done more.